the Premier League is currently seeing a lot of big teams really struggling. So let's do a little bit of a recap here to see what's really going on. So let's begin with Man City, maybe the biggest surprise of them all. Man City, Immortal City, sure to win a 5-peat, said everyone, at least most City fans. And then City completely crumbled. After having a really good start to the season, mind you, Man City was unbeaten after drawing Newcastle and then winning a few games after that. Man City was in really good form. Everyone thought Man City is going to win the league title. And then, for some reason, Man City collapsed. And a lot of people blame the Rodri injury. But if you actually look at Man City, that is not true. Because Man City was winning games, Rodri played only one Premier League game and did not complete it, and that was the draw against Arsenal. Man City was winning games before that, against Chelsea, against Ipswich Town. I mean, sure, it's Ipswich, but you still have to win these games, right? Was winning games against West Ham, Brentford. I mean, Brentford is really good this season. Won games after that as well. But then suddenly started losing. So it's not just Rodri. So what is going on at Man City? Players being tired, injuries galore, a right back got injured in Kyle Walker, the new right back, Rico Lewis, is not quite good enough. So when you look at all the stuff that is going on at Man City, you could say easily, yeah, Man City should have been better prepared for this season, and I would agree with you. But at the same time, you can see why Man City collapsed. It's not just because of Rodri. Man City could have prevented that collapse. Again, it is not simply Rodri. Man City could win games without Rodri. And yet, now, Man City is looking at spending huge, potentially up to 200 million in the January window to just get top 4 and maybe win an FA Cup, which should probably be a good season for Man City after what has happened. So, why is this random collapse happening? I guess Man City wasn't prepared. Then you go over to Chelsea. Well, Chelsea had a great start to the season, but now Chelsea is starting to throw away a lot of points and games. What's going on there? Well, this comes back to something I've said earlier. Not in this video, but earlier on my channel. When you have a good squad, a balanced squad, you will be consistent. Whether that is consistently mid-table, consistently top 4, consistently competing for the titles, depends on the ability of your squad. But you will be consistent. The problem is, if you have a really good starting 11, with a poor bench, you're not going to be consistent. You're going to have a good start to the season. You're going to have a middle part of the season where you just dip on nosedive. That is what Chelsea is seeing right now. The bench is not good enough. So playing players who are tired gets less results out of them. Playing poor players gets no results out of them at all. So now you're suddenly in a situation where great start to the season, but now you have to worry about even getting top 4 because Newcastle has a better bench than you. Man City has fixed up their squad in January, or will, presumably. Nottingham Forest is having a really good season. And Arsenal. Sure, maybe Arsenal will have some problems, because Arsenal has lost Bukayo Saka. And here is my thing on Arsenal, yeah? They're not going to start losing games. They're not going to start losing games because Bukayo Saka is out. If you think they're going to start randomly losing games left and right, you don't understand what Bukayo Saka brought. Bukayo Saka is the only player at Arsenal who brought that special moment in him. When you're 1-1, you need a goal to open the flow of goals. Bukayo Saka is the one who produced that special moment. Without him, they're gonna get a lot of draws, and they're gonna get a few losses which otherwise might have been draws. So they're not gonna absolutely fall down the league table. They're gonna win games as well. But top 4 if Newcastle continues to do as well, if Nottingham Forest continues to do well, who have been absolutely insane this season, I'll talk about them in a minute, then suddenly where does that leave Arsenal? Well, outside of top 4, that is weird. Saka's injury, by the way. There's talks of him being back in March. Other reports of him being back in September. Not sure what to believe there, but I'm gonna assume it's at least until the end of the season here. But yeah. Then you go over Tottenham. Well, you know what's staggering about Tottenham? Every time, like I think I know how bad Tottenham is, but then I turn on a Tottenham game, and they're even worse. It's magic. I don't get it. It's like someone has cursed that club. Oh, I get it. Harry Kane is about to win the Bundesliga. He returned the Tottenham curse to Tottenham. Guys, we found the problem. We found the problem, guys. You know how Bayern Munich didn't win a trophy last season? That's because of the Tottenham curse. Yeah, Harry Kane took that with him. He's put it on Tottenham. Yikes. So Tottenham... Okay, we don't need to talk about Tottenham anymore. But no. Jokes aside. Ange Postecoglou is shit. I'm sorry if you're a Tottenham fan. He's shit. He should be sacked. He should have been sacked way ago. He's not able to adapt. But he somehow wins in the Carabao Cup. He wins a game in the Carabao Cup against Liverpool. But you're gonna get banned 3-0 at Anfield. And if you don't get banned 3-0 at Anfield, and he actually takes you to a final, I would have never predicted that. Kudos to him, isn't it? Then you let him stay until the final, isn't it? Let him play the final. Or well, let him coach the final. But I don't think he's taking you to a final. I don't think he knows how to calm down. I don't think he knows how to handle Anfield. To be fair, Liverpool has dropped more points at Anfield than away at this season, but I don't think he'll be able to handle Anfield. And when I look at how they play, it's always trying to get a goal. Because they can't defend, so they need goals. And if you play like that at Anfield, yeah, that's not gonna end well for you. So, Tottenham, by the way, you know who's right below Tottenham? Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. Yeah. Here is my take on Man United. Here is my take. And it's a crazy take, by the way. Man United now is in the same position that Anderlecht was in 2-3 years ago. Let me explain. Well, it's longer than that. Oh my days, I'm getting old. Besides the point. 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So, Anderlecht had a period where they were getting points against the big teams, and they were dropping a lot of points against small relegation teams. They were mid-table, and they just could not get consistency. And you know why that was? It was because they had a good manager, with a decent squad, but they just could not find the right balance. They didn't have a balanced squad. They had good players, they didn't have a good team, if you get what I'm saying. So, for Man United, I think a lot of people underrate a lot of their players. I think Ahmad is a good player. I think Rashford is a good bench player. Like, he's not good enough to start, but from the bench, I think he's pretty good, you know. I think Bruno Fernandes is pretty decent. I mean, strikers are terrible, but hey, Arsenal doesn't have a striker either, so strikers are probably the biggest worry. De Ligt, Maguire, I mean, people make a lot of fun of Maguire because he had an absolutely horrible second season, but don't forget that he was good at Leicester. He has had his moments for Man United, so I feel like the squad is not as bad as people think. They have Lisandro Martinez. Sure, goalkeeper is iffy. Onana, he is iffy, sure. But that squad... Okay, Casemiro, he is old. Get him out. It really doesn't need as much work as I think people believe. Which is why I think, yeah, Man United, if they spend really wisely, they can get rid of 5 players and bring in 5 replacements for them, and go into top 5 next season. And get top 10 this season. And I don't think they're going to do that now in January, but if they do that in the summer, I think next season they can be top 5. again, their squad is not as bad as people believe. And if they then build upon that, they can maybe get top 4 again the season after that. But right now their squad is imbalanced. They have good players, they have bad players, but they don't have a team. For the Man United, I am so happy that Man United has the Glaciers, you know. Here is my thing. If Man United had a good ownership, they would be bouncing back from where they are at right now in January. And then next season they would have a better season. So I'm so glad that their owners are probably the worst in the Premier League. That just fills my heart. Like, guys, please give a loud applause to Glaciers and to Ineos for keeping Man United where they're at. Because, again, I think people underrate that Man United squad, if I'm being very honest. For Spurs, it's a manager problem. For Man United, it's just a team problem. It's not a balanced team. Now, I think I've talked about a bit of everyone here, but I do just want to touch upon the smaller teams here in the Premier League before I round up. The smaller teams have been very inconsistent. Aston Villa, who I personally believe, by the way, is a bigger team than Tottenham Hotspur. I know, they're not Big Six, but they should be. They've won more trophies, but Aston Villa, they're... what are they doing right now? You know where they're at right now? They're 8th. They started well. They started sports, sorry. Then they looked like they were getting better again. Then they started stopping points again. Now they're doing good again. And that is surprising because they have a really good team. I'm not saying they have a great team, but I thought that they would get top 6. I knew they were not going to get the same level. I believe I predicted top 6, by the way, in my Premier League predictions. I knew they were not going to be on that same level the next season. But I didn't predict that they would be this bad. I did not predict that they... And to be fair, they're only 8th. They're climbing back up now. So I don't know what's going on with them. Brentford, I mean, they're certainly getting really good results, but it's inconsistent. I guess it's better than what they've been at before. Nottingham Forest. They're putting up a title challenge. The only team in world football, or European football should I really say, that has won more Champions League titles or European Cups than league titles. If they win the Premier League, they're not the only club that has that anymore, I suppose, but if they win the Premier League this season, I mean, that'll be ridiculous. Are they going to do a Leicester? I don't think so. I think they'll drop down the table, actually, but... I mean, you look around the Premier League table, it's very inconsistent. And I suppose that's the final point here. The Premier League is inconsistent right now. I guess the title is wrong then, because the title of this video is the Premier League poor? I would say it's weaker than in previous seasons. Like, if you play each team from last season against this season, so Liverpool from last season to current Liverpool, all the way down the Premier League table with all the 17 clubs that were in the Premier League last season, I think that it's probably going to be like 12 wins to the Premier League last season. So I do think the Premier League is weaker right now. But I think the main thing here that gets us talking about Man United, about Tottenham, is not that the Premier League is weaker, but that it's a lot more inconsistent. I don't know. Maybe I'm waffling at this point. Like and subscribe anyways. That was loud. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Help the channel out a ton. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Tell me down below whether you agree, disagree, anything like that, yeah? And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.